What's up, podcast fans? Welcome back to the show. Tonight was a very, very fun one with a cousin of mine. Great story about Paddy Mahony. During the 2010 Olympics, I saw him downtown riding one of those carts where there's loud music playing and someone's pedaling a bike. And we jumped in the back and he took us to his favorite pub, the Johnny Fox, and we had a pint of Guinness. Unreal night. Great business dude. His whole family running the Mahony and Sons pubs. Great spots. Go grab a pint of Guinness there. Probably the best pint in the city. And Paddy has kind of shifted into the gelato industry and self-proclaimed gelato expert. Honestly, super good. Great client gifts. If you're in business yourself, check it out. Very interesting guy. Very fun conversation. Had a blast. Paddy, man, I am pumped. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We briefly ran into each other in the summer.
Yep.
With some gelato.
Yes.
Which was phenomenal. And we're going to get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
How do you describe 2020? Like, it's been such a strange roller coaster year. Like, walking out the door today, me and Jordan, my girlfriend, we went to go grab a beer. She finishes work at 4. We went to there's a brewery next to us. That's like a 10-minute walk away. We walked to go get a beer. On the way out the door, I'm like, keys, wallet, cell phone, mask.
Yeah.
In January, like, it's just, you never think you're walking out the door with, and how many masks do you have now? I have like 7 or 8 in my car. I've got like a dozen in my house. It's like just such a roller coaster this year's been.
Oh, man, absolutely, yeah. And to answer your question, I'm definitely like at least a dozen masks now because, you got to have a clean one every time you head out. And it's been wild, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Like everybody's experiencing, and not only Canada, all over the world, it's huge life adjustments, huge household adjustments. The businesses got to pivot. And sometimes, you walk outside and you're grabbing the essentials, including, like you mentioned, a mask, but sometimes it doesn't feel real. Like sometimes you gotta like remember that this is actually happening. Like the world is in a pandemic, and everybody's gotta do their part to keep themselves and the community safe. And it's an interesting time, and feeling for everyone. And at the end of this all, I hope that everyone can reflect and see the positives that come from it, and live and learn, right? Come out of it better and stronger.
It seems like it's almost normal life now. Like, what are we, 9 months in almost? But like early days, I remember how difficult it was to navigate being like someone who runs a business and has people that kind of like look to you for guidance.
Yeah.
Do you want to just maybe share that experience of like early days, running a business, having, employees that are like kind of looking to you being like, what's next? Where do you go for information? Like what's the message there?
Yeah. Like my big challenge was having difficulty keeping up with all the health guidelines, right? Like it was like looking back, it was a daily thing where you're trying to run a business and a staff, and you have different announcements every single day, and you are learning as you go. But expectations, it was someone, as a leader, people look to you for the answers, and sometimes it's hard to come by them. It's like, okay, this is a daily thing. We're gonna wear masks. We're gonna buy as much sanitizer as we can, and try to deliver our products safely and make our guests feel safe in the gelaterias, right? And it was touch and go. A lot of customers that are anxious, and a lot of staff that are anxious, and you have to find a balance between like staying positive, hey, let's do this, guys, and hey, you know what, like actually, we should keep everyone home we like when lockdown hit, it's like, okay, you know what, we do have to. It's the toughest decision you can make as a leader in business when you're involved in the ownership side of the business, is to pull the plug, and that was the hardest thing to do. But at the end of the day, you got to do the right thing by your people and your customers, and you gotta eat it like everybody else had to, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like absolutely like gut-wrenching decision, but it's the right one, right? And that's what everyone had to do, and then figure out, when can I open again? When can we get back out there and do something? And so things changed for us big time. So
I'm still unsure how we're going to look back at this in history. Like, let's say 20, 30 years from now, when we're grandparents and like retired, how are we going to look back and feel like the world handled this versus like how we got out of it? And early days was so strange that there was new announcements every day. And so people were just like winging it, trying to figure it out. I remember early, like I've got some friends that run bigger businesses than me. Like we just have 2 full-time like salaried employees on our team. And then realtors are kind of separate from that. But Jamie has the brewery. And so I think they have 20 to 25 employees there. And so like when things shut down, they were almost forced to lay people off to go on EI. Yeah. And then like 6 days later, they announce, the Canadian government announces, we'll cover 75% of your employees' wages for the next few months, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like we're always like trying to catch up.
Yep.
How did your kind of business handle that in terms of like, hey, we can't, bars and restaurants and gelaterias, we can't have people in the door anymore. How do we keep staff on, or like what's the conversation like there?
Yeah, so that was a huge hurdle, right? Because we did have to lay people off, and the unfortunate, you call it fortunate, unfortunate, I don't know what it is, but like the government, said, yeah, we're gonna, have this, the wage subsidy for the businesses, but also, the EI for the employees, right? Mm-hmm. And so, we had to lay some people off, and they went on to the EI, and then it was difficult to get them back, right? Because it's like they want to be safe, mm-hmm. and what's the balance between them getting paid this amount and having to work, or getting paid this amount and staying safe?
Yeah.
And that's the decision that all the employees had to make, and respect to anyone that, you make the decision either way, right? And eventually we did get some employees back, and thankfully our businesses pivoted quick, and that's how our delivery service started, right? I was speaking to my uncle, John, who's, pretty, he loves to talk shop, and he said, what can I do to help? And he wanted me to deliver a bunch of gelato to all his managers, right? And then like the light went on, and I'm like, okay, like this, there could be a service, right? Obviously, like delivery was taken off at that time. Mm-hmm. And so we started taking orders online, and the rest is history. And now, a huge part of what we do is delivering gelato in the Lower Mainland, and people love it. It led to a new package that we've got out, which is a 2-pack and a 4-pack carrier that looks like an old like milkman sort of carrying case, and it looks amazing, and it's totally changed the way we do business. And the most important thing is we were able to bring our staff back, right? And super thankful to everybody that got on board with the deliveries, because it got our people back to work, and it got our business up and running again in the toughest time, right? Because it was tough to get people into the shops, right? So it was.
Was it kind of like solely social media that you're getting the word out there that you're doing this delivery service now?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. It started off like. Spreading the word to friends, and it was Facebook, Instagram, and it was text messages, emails, like absolutely texting people one person at a time, like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, let me know if you guys need gelato delivered. And, the community started off with a lot of friends and family supporting and them spreading the word. And then as soon as we got our e-commerce online for orders, that's when it really took off. Because once we get into a neighborhood, especially in the summer, people would see the van, and I brought a Bose speaker and I was playing like the ice cream truck music out of my window, and it was tons of fun, right? Like, and that's what you got to do. It was hustle, man. It was, and as soon as you got into a neighborhood, people were like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh my God, like you guys are delivering gelato," and you would hit a hot spot. Like, so if I get in a neighborhood in North Van, like see the van, next week I would have 8 orders in that neighborhood, and then over time it would switch, and then I'd be out in Richmond and someone like the same pattern, right? As people see the truck and the music, and they're just like, all right, like I'm going to order for next week, and so you hit these hot spots, and it really took off, and it was just a great experience, right? It wasn't something that was like taking off as far as like a financial ultra success in this year, but what it did is kept our brand relevant and paid some bills, got our employees back to work, and it proved to be an awesome experience for the customer, right? Like, and everyone with their kids at home, they loved it, right? With the ice cream music coming up to their door, and it was really cool.
I was saying before, like, luckily our industry wasn't super affected by COVID in terms of like sales and transactions. Like, real estate is has been crazy throughout the fall. There was a couple months there where it slowed down quite a bit and it was a big adjustment period, but overall our year has been pretty similar to last year. And I don't know many industries that are able to say that, so obviously feel really grateful for that kind of experience through a crazy year. But one thing I was really, really kind of excited and proud of early throughout this pandemic was like March, April, May, June, was chatting with other business owners and seeing like other businesses adapt and pivot super quickly and just kind of accept this as a challenge versus like, oh shit, this sucks, I'm going to lose my business. It was almost the opposite. It was like, this is a new challenge. I need to figure out how to, promote and share my service or product or whatever with people in a different way now.
Yeah.
And that was one of the really cool things. I did a kind of a Vancouver business promotional video with a few businesses throughout Greater Vancouver, and just kind of like chatting about their experiences with owners. One was like Evan Moore, who fitness shoe store, and just kind of chatting with them about, what are the challenges you're facing and how are you addressing them? And all of them have this really optimistic, positive attitude that like, we're going to grow, we're going to get better from this, our business is going to be stronger from this, and we're going to get better next year, kind of thing. And it was so cool to see that kind of mentality throughout Greater Vancouver.
Absolutely. It reminds me of the Bob Dylan lyric, you better start swimming or you sink like a stone. And I love that, right? And because it's evident, and it's a timeless quote, and it was a challenge. It's a challenge, like, on a personal level, because everyone's got their battles, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just work. Everybody's got their battles outside of work, and this is it's been an awesome experience to be able to create something new for the business that is it proved to be an awesome experience again, and introducing our product in a different way to a lot of new customers that I couldn't reach before, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what Wheels can do, right? You can get out there and visit neighborhoods that you would normally not get out to see, and I'm delivering everywhere from White Rock to Port Moody, Port Coquitlam, North Van, West Van, and 2 massive deliveries to Kelowna in the summertime as well. So It was wild, man. 4 hours in a gelato van, and all you got is your own thoughts and some tunes, and you hit the road, and it was pretty awesome experience. So yeah. Super proud of what we've done, and super proud of our staff. Again, just coming together in a time where it needed a team to be able to do what we do. Nothing could have been done solo, and I'm leaning on them every day, and they're leaning and looking to me, and we're just doing what we can to do different things and get our awesome product out there. I mean, our Gelato Master is incredible, and it's the best thing when you have something amazing to sell, and our customers are super, super satisfied and stoked to receive their product, right? Because it's a huge advantage in retail when you have something special to offer, right?
I wish I had a sweet title like that. Like, why can't I be called the real estate master? You know,
Yeah,
we got Gelato Master, we got a brew, what are the breweries called? Head brewer, brew master.
There's the brew master, yeah.
Why don't we get cool names like that, Paddy? We got to come up with something.
Dare to dream, Denny.
Where did this gelato idea come from? Because I know your family obviously really well.
Yeah.
We're cousins. I know that a lot of our family has been in hospitality for a very, very long time. Mm-hmm. And I know that some of the hardest working people in Greater Vancouver are hospitality workers, and which is why I love hiring hospitality workers, because they learn a lot of things that you don't get in other industries, I feel like.
Yeah.
But where did this shift come from pubs, Irish style pubs, to gelato? Yeah,
well, my brother Chris, it was his brainchild. So, I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy. Is super interesting guy in business. He seems to just know people. He's like, whenever I need something or I've got a question where I need to be pointed in the direction to go, that's my guy. I mean, if you ever need anything, just call up my brother Chris, because he just seems to have answers, right? And so he had this idea to, he's got friends in business. So he had a friend that was a marketing guy. He had a friend that was an operations guy. He had an investor who had an investment group that wanted to do this. And he found a gelato maker. And so that's how Uno Gelato was born. And then it was just like a team. Right. And then so I was interested in the business. So I invested and then later on, 6 months into it, they say, "Hey, Paddy, do you want to join the team? We have an opportunity in operations." As all our partners were sort of all over the Lower Mainland and Okanagan, and so as we grew, they came to me to help, and that's how it all started. And then it really started to take off when we brought on Andrés Bermudez, who is our current Gelato Master, who is just taking things to another level. He's young. He has experience in gelato making for 15 years. He started, learned from his grandma in Colombia. Then he worked in Miami. And then he worked in Vancouver at the Bella Gelateria downtown. And then he just graduated from the Gelato University Carpegiani University in Bologna, Italy. He did an online course through the pandemic, which is the most prestigious gelato university in the world. And so he completed his course. And this guy is just taking things to another level. Like, it's unbelievable what he does day in, day out to create these flavors, and people are blown away, right? And I can get on here. Obviously, it's my business, and I can toot our own horn. But like, honestly, Denny, I mean, you've tried it. Like, it's special, and it's such a difference in business when you have a product this good to be able to sell, because it makes it so much easier for the staff to romance the menu, to talk to customers, because everybody's stoked to sell it, right? So it makes a huge difference, and that's how the business was born, and that's sort of where it is. And the deliveries is the new thing in the last 6 months that's sort of brought a huge element online, an online presence. And we're doing all sorts of contests with local businesses, and we a friend of mine at Strange Fellows Brewery, a local brewery in East Van, we're making a Strange Fellows beer gelato that's coming out in December. Hey, look at that. The talisman.
Strange Fellow. There you go.
Yeah, so good folks at Strange Fellows, they make an awesome beer. So we're making a gelato and doing a combination of contests and all sorts of giveaways online. So I love how everybody's come together in the pandemic to work with other local businesses and cheer each other on. It's really a time to do that, right? It's just to root everyone on that's swinging right now, swinging for the fences, and doing what they can do for themselves and the business community, right? It's a really positive thing to see.
Honestly, man, that's such a good point, that you're talking about how passionate you are about your product, right? And I think in business that is like, it's such a deciding factor of like success. And people all the time ask you like, why do you work so hard? You're working till like midnight every day. Why? And for me, it's always like, I really enjoy what I do, but I believe in our service. I believe that we're offering a really high quality service to people.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me happy. Like people waking up in the morning and seeing I sent them an email at 2:30 a.m., like answering their questions, and they love it. Yeah. Just knowing that our service is that good. And it's the same with a product or whatever your business is revolved around. And like, how do you succeed in business? I think you find something that you're super passionate about and you believe in.
Yeah.
And you just wake up every morning excited to get going, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Like I'm a guru of nothing. I'm not a guru of business. I'm not a guru of, I respect, I love your Instagram. I love how you guys are doing different things with real estate, and I follow it along, and it's so relatable, right? Like what I enjoy about this process is that like I think that my staff respects the fact that I'm learning every day myself, and I'm not a leader that goes in there and tries to just point and give direction. I love them to contribute. I love to lean on them. I love them to come to the table with ideas and show me how something's done new. And I encourage everyone to do that, and that's what makes our team awesome at Uno is that like everybody who is there is super passionate about the product for one, but I encourage our team to make us better. Anything that you think is a great idea, like I want to hear about it. And it's a super cool way to do things, because I let them know from day one that I don't know everything. I've only been in gelato for a year and a half now. Right? It's a new business for me, and we're learning every day. And that's how we were able to pivot and do this delivery thing, right? Is because I wasn't sticking to my guns, because if I stuck to my guns, we'd probably be out of business, right? It's like you got to do something new, and that's why, right? Like it was a pivot, and it was something that was fun and cool, and it got our people back to work, and the rest is history, right?
Are you still involved in the pubs?
Not day-to-day operations, no. Yeah. So I officially left the pubs, I think about 2 years ago now.
Okay.
A year and a half, 2 years maybe, yeah.
Okay.
So a huge part of my life is working in the family business with the brothers, and, still, got my... dialed in with Pete and Jarrett, on a weekly basis. I'm checking in, seeing how things are going, and 2 of our gelato locations are partnered with them, so it's still essentially got a pulse on it, but they're doing their thing, and Uno's its own monster. So
yeah. Can you, I don't know if you're super privy to these conversations, but what did with the pubs more, because they've got super big locations, when they were shut down in like March, April, what did those conversations look like with landlords in terms of like leases and, I don't know, because I don't have a big commercial space. We have a really small office in New West that, wasn't a real cash flow problem for us. But like, I assume that restaurants and some retail type businesses were affected extremely hard by having to close down for 30 to 60 days.
Absolutely. Like landlords, I mean, it all came up quick for everybody, right? Like landlords were, Convention Center is one, and then, our landlords in False Creek as well for the Mahoney's locations, and then Kits for Uno Gelato. And then, so yeah, I mean, I wasn't hands-on with the conversations. That was Pete handling that for the pubs, but it was it came out of nowhere, like right before St. Patrick's Day. But so for Irish pubs, that was a massive, huge hit, right? And everybody has been helpful because everybody's in the same. They don't want you to go out of business, landlords, because this is their business, right? Is that your success is theirs. And so everybody's just been following the guidelines and as far as the government support goes, and it's changing all the time. So that's the thing. It's just constant communication, and that's how it's sort of still evolving and still going, right? Is that like people are figuring it out month to month and week to week and even day to day sometimes. So challenging for sure.
Man, it was such a strange couple months. Usually April, May are two of our busier months of the year, and they were more than cut in half. Yeah. And every day you're waking up and like turning on whatever news channel and like waiting for the new announcement from Trudeau to see what the hell's going on, or like waiting for Bonnie's announcement. And every day changed. Yep. It was crazy. For us in real estate, it was like, you're deemed as an essential service. Okay, what does that mean? Do we just continue as we're like as normal, or like what? And then like a couple weeks later, it was like no more open houses. We're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, it was like different news. So it was like every day, wake up, see what's happening, and then change your business from there. It was so crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's still ongoing.
It's
right?
still
like
totally.
There's conversations today that was saying, most of the transmissions are coming actually from home visits and families that are visiting families, and they sit and talk and have drinks for hours and with no mask, and they're talking and they're saying that restaurants, because people are freaked out, everyone's got masks on and clean and sanitizing everything, and it's actually not as bad, right? But like, that's going to change tomorrow because someone's going to have a different opinion, and you can't hang on that, right? It's just like from what we've learned this year is that every day is crazier than the next, and it's all about adapting as quick as you can, right?
Mm-hmm. And, do you have kids now?
No, I don't. No, not yet. Got married about a year ago.
Has that so? It's always something I like talking to people in terms of their experience, but like, you're a hardworking dude. I know that. I know your family has been running some really cool pubs and now gelaterias for a long time. How does the like work-life balance shift when family dynamic changes, like getting married obviously is a big deal.
Yeah, it all changes. Like, don't have kids yet, but we got a dog, and that matters, right? It's all about. He couldn't be happier for the pandemic because my wife's working from home now, so he's never alone, and he's just like couldn't be. 2020's been good to Stan, that's for sure. No, but I know what you're saying, and it's a huge adjustment, right? Like it's my wife has had to adjust to. She's super extroverted, right? And working from home was a massive adjustment. And it's an interesting thing. She never used to watch TV at night. And now that's what we do, right? Yeah. Like, we watch TV as to wind down and enjoy some time together because, when I get home from a long day on the road, I'm pretty tired, right? Like it's a lot of work and a lot of moving around, especially at the end of the week. It's a grind, but hey, man, like I'm used to it. We were doing pubs and, that convention center location, I was down there for 4 years, and when those conventions rolled into town, man, you were just, head down and going for 10 days straight and working long 12 to 14-hour days. And it's what you did, and you just got to hit the switch, right? And when you got to hit the switch to work hard to get through something, and you turn the switch off when you come out the other end, right? And it's just the way you got to be wired for entrepreneurship. And like I said, I'm learning as I go every day, and that's all you can do, and nothing's perfect ever in business. That's for sure.
I think that's a good even just thought to have in your head that like, I'm constantly learning. I'm not, still trying to figure this out. And for me, one of the things I always struggle with is like, work is really, really fun for me. Yeah. And I love it. And it takes up most of my life. And like, I will sacrifice a lot of things for work. But when the day is finally done, whatever that means in real estate, but like when it's finally done and you get home, whatever that time that is, 8, 9, whatever time it is.
Yeah.
When you sit down on the sofa and you like pull your computer to answer emails or whatever, you just feel like emotionally exhausted because like in your day to day, delivering gelato, you have to be like, and not that it's a fake version of yourself. It's just like a certain side of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Where you're super excited. Totally. You're super excited. You're, turned on, let's say. But like, have you had any trouble balancing that in terms of like family life at home? Because I know that's something I've struggled with in terms of like getting home after like a really busy day where you have 12 appointments or like 12 drop-offs or whatever, where you just like feel like, for lack of a better word, exhaustion mentally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm jealous of all those people that say that, my business, my entrepreneurship is my hobby, like, because I'm so into it and so involved and blah, blah, blah. And I would love to get to that place. But like, unfortunately, my greatest passion in life is hockey, right? I'm sorry, but that's what it is, right? I'm not going to pretend to be someone else. Like, so I have other things in my life that is super important to me, like watching the Canucks and going playing beer league with my buddies. And like, I love having that work-life balance. And I don't want my life to be business all day, every day until you drop, right? Like, but when you hit that switch, like I have no issue at all just engulfing yourself in what you're doing, be passionate about what you're doing, and even like getting on Instagram and firing off some content quickly to just sort of, if something's on your mind and all that stuff. That's when I'm so into it, when you're going, right? But I believe there's a time to switch it off, right? Enjoy something else and just to stay refreshed, stay balanced, and so you can get back after it the next day without burning out, right? It's a huge thing. For me, is like I can't go 24/7, 7 days a week, but I can get pretty close. But I need that something to switch it off and balance my life, right?
Any tips for that kind of stuff? Like, because that's something I struggle with in turning it off. Do you like put your phone in a drawer when you get home at 7 p.m. or whatever it is, just to know that you're like hanging out with your wife, watching TV for the next hour, or making dinner or whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We both had the conversations about the phones, and figuring out when's a good time to put them away. And we find that the common ground that we've found is like after dinner, like, is to put on a show. And like we got into like to Schitt's Creek this year and The Crown, but like Schitt's Creek, oh my God, that show came out of nowhere and it's so funny, right? And it's something that we both got a kick out of. We both laughed our heads off. And so that's, I mean, pandemic's tough because what else is there to do? We walk our dog and we watch a show every now and again. And I love reading books that sort of like I read Shoe Dog, the Nike story. I don't know if you've ever read that book.
I have.
Unbelievable. Like I love that book. I couldn't put it down. But it's like a book about business, but I still found it a break from business, right? So, you got to do what you got to do in these times. It's not, normally to balance my life, I'd go for bike rides in the summer and go golfing. And then, in the winter, it's just like, I got my hockey schedule. There's one night a week where I'm out doing what I love to do. And unfortunately this year we don't have that, right? It's totally off the grid. So, you just got to figure it out. I think that's what everybody's doing right now, is trying to figure out what is that balance during a year where a lot of things are taken away.
Yeah, it's been a strange, man.
Yeah.
Carl, in your business,
yes,
I guess not a ton has changed because you're often by yourself anyway in people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a ton of change in your business? I don't know if we ever even talked about this.
Honestly, the biggest change was just early on, like March, April, just the uncertainty, right? People didn't know what was going to happen. But luckily for us, we were working outside, so we weren't affected as much. Right now, I guess we just wear masks, and that's the only thing. People, I mean, I'm usually with my customers maybe for like a month, 2 months, right? So for the same customer, so it's not that bad. But I think it's just the masks is the biggest thing.
Have you brought any gelato to any of your customers, Carl?
No, I gotta try that stuff for sure, though.
That could be a pretty good closing gift for you. Project's done. Here's a 4-pack of gelato.
Absolutely.
Right. Good sell, Denny. Good sell. Attaboy.
Paddy, outside of work, I know you're crushing it. I know you've like had a crazy year in terms of adjusting the business, but outside of work, what are some big things? Because beer league hockey probably shut down this year.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the year, they were doing it, and then our team, we had a discussion at the beginning of the year. It was literally like 5 days before the season started. We pulled the plug. We just decided to take a year off because we didn't think it would go a full season, and which I don't think it did. So tough decision.
What I'm getting at, I was hoping you were going to just like volunteer this information.
Yeah.
You guys are big Hawks fans, you and your bros.
Absolutely, yeah.
What's your assessment so far?
The assessment so far is obviously the defense. We got some issues, but it's nice to see Jamal Adams back in the lineup. I'm expecting to see some impact from him coming as he improves week to week. But they're coming to the defense is getting there. It was a better week last week against Arizona, but the thing is Russell Wilson is something special to watch, and when he's got the two weapons that he has this year in Metcalf and Lockett, it's pretty awesome to watch the offense. The offensive line, I think like a little bit more consistency would be nice, but I'm loving what I'm seeing. Love to sit down and watch a little bit more. I'm catching a lot of highlights these days with being busy, but we're still a contender, and I like where we're going. What do you think?
If you're looking for a good highlight show, Carl and I do a Seahawks social podcast every Monday night.
Perfect.
You're just selling everything on here.
Dude, it's so much fun though.
That's
literally
awesome.
So you know that I am as big a Hawks fan as you and your brothers.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed, man. It's so good. They are the best sports franchise of all time, and I'm totally fine saying that. And it's just a venting area. Like, we just get to chat for 30 minutes and vent about everything. Mm-hmm. How bad the refs were that week. How bad Trey Flowers is.
Like the announcers.
Yeah. The announcers. That's amazing.
Tony Romo, I really appreciate when Tony Romo covers games. Outside of Tony Romo, the NFL announcers are mediocre at best.
Yeah, wow. I mean, Tony Romo, holy smokes, did that guy show like how good of an offensive coordinator he is when he started calling the plays, like as an announcer. Yeah. That was pretty crazy. He could really read defenses. It just goes to show how smart that guy is at football. That's why you got to respect him as what he's talking about on TV now.
That's a good point. Awesome. I wonder if that's in his future.
Could be, man. Like, he was amazing. That I don't know if you remember that. Was it last season maybe, where he was just like, it was like during a game, he was just like, okay, this is going to be a run to the right or a pass underneath to this, and he was just like acing it like every play call. It was crazy, just from reading the D, and it was like, oh my God, get that guy on the Hawks sideline ASAP.
That's what I like about him, is he's so practical. He's just he's reading defenses like a quarterback, and saying, like, in this setup, you want to run the ball over here, or you want to run like a little quick out play or whatever.
Totally.
And that's
good
really
golfer
cool.
too.
Great golfer. He played in a couple PGA events.
Yeah, dude's scratch. It's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is my assessment. I think the D individually is better than they are as a unit currently.
Yeah.
And the game against Arizona was a step in the right direction, I think. I think Carlos Dunlap was a really, really good pickup.
Yeah.
He is exactly what we needed.
Couple sacks last week, right?
Carl, what are his stats? I think he's played 3 games with the Hawks and had 3.5 sacks.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he's getting a lot of pressure, and that is exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
The secondary is still questionable at best.
Yeah.
But I think we get Shaq Griffin back this week.
Good.
Who's our number 1 corner. Man,
There's been injuries. I mean, Jamal Adams was awesome before he got hurt. Yeah.
He's a difference maker for sure.
Yeah.
Right? He changes the course of a game. You need to game plan around a guy like that on offense for the other teams.
Yeah.
The thing that, like, we talk about every single week on this Seahawks podcast is how crazy open the NFC is.
Yeah.
There's no one that is, like, outstanding. Everyone is just, where I was like, who wants to win the NFC? The Tampa Bay Bucks don't.
Yeah.
You know, they've had a few opportunities. They're not interested. Green Bay's not interested at the moment.
Yeah.
They've taken a few steps back. The Rams, maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
The Saints aren't interested. Drew Brees goes down.
Drew Brees and his ribs. Oh, poor guy.
I know. I'm really, really thankful that the NFL was able to put together a season this year.
Yeah.
I know it was challenging for a lot of professional sports just trying to navigate through those very, very muddy waters this year.
Yeah.
But as a fan and as someone who would drive myself insane not being extremely busy throughout the year, like, it's a nice release, and it's really, really cool to have like one day every week that is just like dedicated to football. It's so cool.
Oh, for sure. Same thing when the hockey came back. It was just like,
totally.
Oh my God, this is just amazing.
Yeah.
People were like, but there's no fans. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
Like, you know, Petey's out there, like Quinn Hughes is just amazing. Like, I was just like, this is just incredible. So,
what did they do for Seahawks season tickets this year?
Who knows? Jer and Pete were season ticket holders, but I'm not sure if they were even renewing. Either way, Jer's got a family now, and Pete's running the football club at the pub. So I don't think they renewed last year, but have to ask them. But they were Hawks season ticket holders for years, like a decade at least. Yeah, it was crazy. Good.
I wonder if you just like stay on the list and get moved to next year, because it sounds like they're not. I wonder if they do they take deposits just in case they have fans this year? I wonder what happened.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hawks, the season tickets were like absolute gold there for years and years when they were. My brothers, like, they'd get season tickets and they'd sell 1 week. It would pay for the whole season almost, right? It's just crazy. Like, just give up 1 game out of 8.
You know I'm on the wait list, eh?
Yeah. Who knows?
You know what the wait list is at?
You're on the wait list?
I'm on the wait list.
Oh, are you?
I've been on the wait list for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm currently number 72,000 on the wait list.
You joking?
I'm not joking.
Smokes.
It's going to be 30 years before I get season tickets.
Good luck.
Maybe longer, yeah.
Good luck.
By that time, Russ is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Pete may still be kicking. You never know. That guy has a ridiculous amount of energy.
Pete's got at least 40 years left, so you'll probably be all right. And you'll still be like Energizer on the sidelines, just running around, fist pumping. Yeah, the guy's a legend.
He's awesome. Real.
But big things of the Hawks this year. I mean, Russell Wilson is just lights out. It's awesome.
What do you think is their realistic expectation this year?
Super Bowl.
This guy's all in.
Yeah. There's no reason. There's no hesitation there, right? I mean, it's an all-in year. I mean, it's no Legion of Boom. Let's be real. But I mean, if that defense can come together a little bit, and that was a positive step, then they're a contender. There's no other way to read it. I mean, you got Russell Wilson in his prime, and DK Metcalf, who's like one of the biggest weapons in the NFL right now. And they have a reasonable chance in winning the Super Bowl this year, in my opinion.
What a ridiculous steal that guy was, eh?
Unbelievable. Like, what was that? Was like third round or something?
I think he was third. Carl, do you know? I think he was third round.
Yeah.
I think it was third round, yeah.
Late third round. And the reason people didn't draft him is because he had a poor agility test or something at the combine.
Unbelievable. That play on the interception where he ran the guy down from 90 yards, like unbelievable. Russ stopped running at like the 40.
Yeah, he gave up, yeah.
Russ had a 12-yard advantage on DK.
Yeah.
DK just ran past him. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
That might have been the greatest football play I've ever seen.
Best offensive tackle ever, I think.
Is that a category?
Yeah. Yeah.
Third round, Carl?
I think he was 64th. Is that second or third?
Early third, I think. Or maybe last pick of the second round?
Could be, 64th overall.
All right, we'll take it. We'll say third. We'll agree on third.
I love how Carl's the producer, the stats guy. Danny just said, hey, Carl, what do you got? Third round? Yeah. Can you confirm?
Carl's always got the good.
It's awesome.
I say a lot of bogus stuff, and Carl always corrects me.
Got to fact check, yeah.
So you're probably 20 years into a business career?
Yeah.
What's your monthly, yearly routine of educating yourself, improving? I know we talked about that really early on, always trying to get better. You talk to your staff about, hey, I don't know everything. I'm trying to improve. I'm learning a new business. Do you actively go after podcasts, books, whatever, to educate yourself, to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as books go, yeah, I'm always picking out books that I could learn from that have an interesting story. I get bored easy if there's no good story behind it, and that's why the Nike book was awesome, because I was just like, man, couldn't put it down. That's the sort of thing I like. And then I'm trying at the moment, is my focus has sort of been LinkedIn. Is I'm trying to learn a little bit more about LinkedIn and how I can use that as a tool and a platform to grow the business. Also, during this year, I applied for SFU in the GDBA program, where it was a 2-year program, and I got through the first semester, and then I had a health scare, which you know about. I had surgery during the second semester, which sort of halted that, but all is well. and I might take up the education in the program again in the next semester or not, depending on the business and where it goes. But always looking, last year, a whole bunch of online courses, accounting courses, anything I can do to sort of, improve myself. And then there's times where I just don't have time. I'm just in the business and learning as I go. And I just have to accept that sometimes. It's I can't plan for the long term all the time. It's sort of learn on the go when you have some time, and pick up a book, listen to a podcast, or just watch Denny Dumas NFL Monday Night Seahawks podcast on Monday nights. And
it's statistically correct. I'll give it that. Okay.
Yeah,
we're always right on the money.
Yeah. Yeah, but but back to that. I mean, you just learn as much as you can when you're in business.
What's your go-to podcasts?
You got me on that one. Carl will cut that one out. I don't have an answer for that.
It changes for me all the time. And honestly, I listen to some investing for beginner podcasts because I want to start running my own
nice
stocks and stuff on the side. I listen to some real estate investing podcasts. I listen to some business guys. I like Joe Rogan because he is such a good listener.
Yeah.
And I listen to Joe Rogan's often. A lot, not necessarily for the quality of the guest, but more just to listen to him and how good he is at he knows a little bit about a lot of things.
Who's it? Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
And
smart guy, right?
Really smart dude. And I feel like he retains information really well. And so from like someone who really enjoys the podcast platform like myself, who wants to chat with people all the time, I get a lot out of him.
Yeah.
Talking to other people.
Yeah.
Just like listening, picking out one little tiny item that you say and like exploring that little item for like the next 15 minutes, right? Just going in a ton more depth. So I've got a lot out of him.
Funny guy too. And he can...
Dude, so entertaining.
He's so witty. Like, you know, when someone challenges him on something, like you're right, he always has something to say pretty quick, right?
Totally.
So, yeah, entertaining dude.
Man, very, very, very good connecting with you tonight, man.
Yeah, Denny, thanks for having me on. It's great to catch up with family, cousins, and just talk about life and things. And it's great to be here. And thanks for having me.
Glad to see you guys are doing well, even through a very, very strange year.
Thank you.
Maybe let's finish off just letting everyone know where they can get the best gelato in BC. Yeah,
thanks. So online is www.unogelato.com/shop. And for the month of November, still, I believe, 6 days left, we're supporting the Canucks Autism Network, my favorite thing to support in town. I've got a good friend, Bob Shanks, a young man with autism that is absolutely killing it in the fundraising. He's almost at $250,000 in fundraising just from telling his story. And so I'm super supportive of the Canucks Autism Network. And so, 10% of sales online and in-store pints go to the Canucks Autism Network. So get your order in for November, and we're pumped for the holiday season as well. So unogelato.com/shop. Thanks, bud.
Very cool. Really, really good for all you business owners out there. Really cool client gifts as well. In real estate, we've had some success gifting possession days, just throwing a pint of gelato in their freezer for when they move in. It's had a lot of success, so check it out for not only for yourself and your family, but some client action as well.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, great to connect.